Hey, 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 it's just being the Joneses.
What up? What up?
How you doing?
Doing
It,
great. Oh, you talking to them?
no, I'm talking to you.
Oh, I'm
They
doing
ain't gonna be
great.
able to answer me. What it could.
Well, you can still say it.
I'm April,
And I'm boss.
and we are back with another episode. Well, you say you're doing great.
I feel
Okay.
good this morning. Got up, cooked a little bit of breakfast, and it was good. I ain't burned nothing. And y'all ate all that junk up.
Yep. It's good to have a cooking man. Even though I do most of the cooking, but
You do
it's
do.
great when you do.
You do do. Mhm.
So so today, Mr. Jones,
Today we're going to be talking about
uh, um,
over giving and
overgiving.
overextending, however you want to use the terms interchangeably or whatever.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Overgiving. Do you tend to be an overgiver
I
or
know I'm
a
not.
undergiver,
I know I'm not an overgiver. I'm not. Sometimes I might could
or
be.
in the middle?
I'm more of in the middle there because I'm all about helping folk out, especially someone who I know really needs my help. I don't mind helping at all, paying it forward. I love doing that, whether it be time, money, or just something I could do for somebody. If I could just be there, or if they need someone to talk to, anything I could do for someone, I'm there for you. But I don't
Uh,
overextend it. I
uh,
don't overdo it.
mm. Well, I gotta agree with you on that. I think you. I think you somewhere in the middle and sometimes under.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm more of a giver and an overgiver,
Hmm.
right? And so
Yeah,
yeah, and then overgiving, like you said, can be of time, mentally,
yeah,
emotionally, um, your space,
that's true.
all of that. Like
Yeah,
so, but I mean, with you being in the middle, like I know, like I said, oh, you been in the middle or under, and I'm more so like dead on or over. You
hmm,
think overgiving could be a bad thing? I think undergiving could be a bad thing, but overgiving as well
yeah.
can be a bad thing.
Shoot,
It
yeah.
can turn into it can become a bad thing. Um,
It don't always become a bad thing depending on the person, but yeah, it could definitely become a bad thing.
well, I think it's not even. I wouldn't even say depending on the person. I would say it's depending on how often it's done. Because overgiving can be bad regardless of who you overgiving. It can become an issue regardless of who you overgiving to.
Yeah.
Because not everybody are users, but at the same time, it can still become an issue even when it's not, when you're not overgiving to even when the person doesn't try to use or
Hmm.
abuse it. Which I guess I can kind of explain by what I mean by that. But um like overgiving can start from people either asking you
Yeah.
for things or you just doing it. Like I'm more of a person where if I see a need, depending on who it is, like especially if it's people that I engage with on a regular basis, if I see a need, I tend to just you know
Yeah.
act on it a lot of times if I can, and I'm always acting within, where to me I'm always acting within my means if it comes to like something financially or whatever, but I could be an overgiver when it comes to also my time,
Hmm.
and that can be a little bit exhausting,
Yeah, because you're doing
or
something.
mentally that can be a little bit exhausting,
Yeah.
um and stuff like that. But um when it comes to like people, they can be asking for, and people can't over ask.
Oh yeah. Some people have no shame.
Or you could just be over giving just because, like I said, you can volunteer yourself to be an overgiver.
Hmm.
But I mean, do you understand yourself in terms of like giving? If you,
Do I understand myself?
yeah. So like for me, I think that when I overgive, well, I'm gonna just talk about when I give and overgive, it can mean two different things for me. Or it could mean more than two different things, but what I've noticed is one of the things that motivate my giving and sometimes my overgiving is because I want people to feel good and feel good about themselves, or if I see that it's a situation that's causing somebody distress,
Yeah.
wanting to help or something like that. And I do want to be a dependable person too,
Yeah.
and a kind person. But then the other flip side is like if we're giving to, like when we overgive our kids,
Mm-hmm.
our
Or
adult
the
children.
big three. Yeah.
Sometimes I notice that can come from some place of anxiety because I want to see you succeed. I don't want to see you in a bad situation,
Yeah.
you know, or so I can overly bail out, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Which we've both done several times. Even
Yeah.
we've both done it. I mean, sometimes you just like you say, you don't want your kids to be in a bad situation. You don't want them. You don't want them hungry.
Well,
You
yeah,
don't
that's
want
not gonna
them.
happen.
You don't
But
want them living out of their car. You don't want to see those things. You don't want to see evictions. But and we give so that they can try to get themselves back on track. So we try to do what we can. So but at times it becomes like an expectation.
well, that it's like this thing that I was reading about. And so it was saying that like as far as like toxic giving. You ever heard of toxic giving?
Never heard of it.
Well, with toxic giving, it's like it can create expectations.
Mm,
So it's like you give, you know, and that's like a appreciation, because you
yeah,
done gave one time, it's an appreciation.
yeah,
And then but the more you give, the more that changes from appreciation and through other phases to the point where it becomes entitlement and expectation.
hmm,
So the more you do do things, a lot of times, and I think that's human nature for a lot of people. It's like, okay, they get used to that,
yeah,
whether it's fans, family, whomever, co-workers, because you can be on your job and you can be helping. I remember uh when I worked at this particular job before, this supervisor would solicit my help because her job was overwhelming.
yeah.
But then she started to expect me to help her with her job every day.
Like, whoa, lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is toxic because if you're not getting paid to do your job and hers,
Yeah.
you know, and so
But it became an expectation.
she
So,
was expecting you to help her with her job and still do yours. Sound like is that right?
oh, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. And see, I can see that being very toxic, or an example of toxic giving.
Yeah.
Toxic giving, right? That's the term.
Toxic giving.
Toxic giving. Yeah,
Because
that's
it's
extremely
like it's
toxic.
like you give once, you create appreciation.
Yeah,
So, oh, I appreciate you for helping me with this. I appreciate you for giving me this, or
yeah,
whatever, or your time, or whatever it is. Then you to give again. It's anticipation.
yeah.
You create anticipation. Then you get that third time, it's expectation. Now I'm expecting this.
Mm-hmm.
Then that fourth time, it's entitlement. Now I'm entitled to you giving me what you're giving me, right?
Yeah.
And then the fifth time, dependency. Now I'm depending on your help, or I'm depending on what you're giving me.
And what type of appreciation did she ever extend? Like, what's the most appreciation?
Absolutely none.
Mm. And see that's something like that is just. very toxic because
Absolutely not.
I'm pretty sure it got to a point where she did expect it.
Oh yeah.
Like she would just maybe forwarding you an email, just like it was like second nature. Oh, I'm just do
No,
this
I.
day or something like that. Whatever.
Yeah. So
That
I
sounds
mean,
like some notes I jotted down about toxic. This ain't the definite definition of nothing. But I got when you give large quantities of items, time, etc., to someone and it's not doing them any good for their and or your overall well-being, and that's overgiving.
yeah, I can understand how it cannot do them any good if you're overgiving, because then they're not doing anything. They could be not doing anything to help themselves.
That's right, and that's what I'm getting at. They're not doing enough at that point to help themselves because they're relying
Right.
on you to do it for them, or at least assist
Yeah.
them, so they don't have to do it
So
all. They can do 20% while you do 80,
yeah.
and
So
they don't feel bad about it, and that's where it becomes like a problem for me, where that toxic giving,
mm-hmm,
overextending, what I'm saying, where it becomes toxic,
mm-hmm.
because at that point they're not doing for themselves, and not
They'll
only
feel
are they
like they
not
don't
doing
need to.
because they're relying on you to do it.
Yeah.
They're not doing for themselves. They're relying on you to do it, and they're not showing the appreciation. Hey,
Yeah.
take me to lunch or something. Hey, I just knocked this out for you. Hey, do something
Or
for me. Hell, here, help me with my work. Do something
maybe that supervisor who I was doing the work for spent the little extra time in the break room because
because you're
I'm
taking
doing the
care of
work.
the work. Yeah, exactly. And see, it
So
becomes an expectation, and that's wrong for it to just be becoming an expectation like that. It should just be, if I got my job, my task, and my supervisor has their task,
mm-hmm.
why is it expected for me to do all of my work and half of theirs, or any portion of theirs too?
And
Like,
see
why
me,
do I have to
and the
do it?
thing is the motive behind it, right?
The motive
So like
behind
I
it,
was
yeah.
going behind, like I was saying earlier, what's my motive? Like when
Mm-hmm.
I asked you, do you have a motive? Like what do you know what your motive is behind when you give, or when you undergive,
Yeah,
because or whatever. But with me giving and overgiving, if I'm overgiving, I'm helping and I'm giving my time to help somebody else with their work,
yeah,
right? I felt the way that I felt, my motivation was because I felt like she needed help.
yeah.
She was I liked her, um,
Team.
and everything like that. And
Y'all were the same team together,
yeah,
ideally, basically.
and I saw that she was stressed by the work. So I was like, okay, maybe I can, and then, maybe I can help her out.
Yeah,
But eventually I started saying that it was became an expectation and I appreciate it, and then I wasn't being, there was no explanation being given to the higher ups for why my work wasn't being completed all the
mm-hmm.
way, you know because theirs was no stand, nobody, she wasn't saying, well, this is why her numbers might be low because she been helping me.
Wow.
So
she
yeah.
she didn't even
and
stand up for
then
you.
and then another thing is when stuff like that happen at work too, not that I can't even say, and especially being a young person, I can't even say that I didn't have expectations that she would look out for me, because I did.
Yeah,
So at this time, it's like I'm giving to you. Now my expectation is that you will look out for me.
look out for me. Yeah,
But that's not why I did it. I didn't do it to say, oh, let me do this to try to get in where I can have one over the supervisors that or the manager or whoever to, be
yeah,
able to give me special treatment. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, if I had a real issue going on
mm-hmm.
and I talked to you about it, I would think that you would then look out. But that was even the thing. That didn't even, you know what I'm saying? It was
Yeah,
just like whatever. So when I say that, I go to expectations,
yeah,
because sometimes when we overgive, we can start to have expectations too. Like even though that person expecting us, they start having their expectations, we can start to have our expectations too.
exactly.
So I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to have expectations. Um I think that it's human nature to expect people to treat you a certain way when you are kind to them and when you go over and
When you go out
beyond
of
for
your way,
them.
yeah, definitely when you go out
Yeah.
of your way, yeah, for them and you helping them out is clearly helping them out. They are benefiting from it. dog, give me some kind of kudos or something. Look out for me
Not
sometime
yeah,
or
not
something.
even, and it's like um if I it's like I don't expect for me because I know myself, right? I
Yeah.
know that I'm one of those givers that I enjoy. It's something I enjoy, right?
Yeah.
Depending on what it is. Do I enjoy when I feel like I have to bail somebody out and I have to do it and I feel like I got to do it multiple times?
Mm-hmm.
You know, no, because it's not. I don't feel like I don't enjoy it when it becomes an obligation. When it seems like it's an obligation for me.
Yeah.
But I enjoy it when I feel like I'm free to be able to do it and just like be like, okay, I see a need and I'm going to do it. And it's not my responsibility, but I'm going to do it because I see a need and I want to help this person,
Because you
right?
do it on your own terms.
And right.
Yep.
But the thing is, um, then I'm like, okay, I don't expect people because you gotta be careful not to expect you from people.
That's right.
So I don't expect people to return the same level of or the same level of giving
Reciprocity.
to me, and I don't expect the reciprocity to be to look the same
Yeah. Because it don't
as what
always
I
have to.
gave because it can be different.
Yeah.
But what I do expect is something, right?
Something. Yeah.
So I feel like if I'm one of those people, like even with a friendship, if I'm one of those people who always, you know, you don't you don't even have to me, I feel like it's a special person when you don't even have to ask
Mm-hmm.
for them.
They just see it.
They just see
They
it
say, "Oh, you know what?
and they say, this my boy, this my girl, this
Yeah."
my whoever, I'm gonna do this, and
Or at least offer it.
so or I'm gonna offer, and that's I think that's great. But when it becomes a problem for me is when it's not that you don't give back the same level of what I'm giving. It's
Mm-hmm.
when I expect something simple
Yeah.
out of you.
And it's
When
not
I
happening.
sample a little simple piece of support or a little simple something,
Yep.
and then it's not
It's
done.
not happening.
And that's when I have to start reevaluating my giving and my
You're
over
giving.
giving,
How
and,
much you
and
gonna
then I
give?
have to
Yeah.
create boundaries with myself because now of how I now because I feel a certain way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you start to feel a certain way, then you got to start looking at yourself and saying, okay, like nobody's obligated, right?
Right.
So you have to decide if you want to stay, if you how much you want to give, over give, or whatever you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not feel like you're not getting the small amount of reciprocity back, then do you want to continue? How do you want to continue? Because you don't have to fall out. You don't have to blame that person. You ain't got to be mad about it
Yeah.
or none of that because nobody's obligated. But you do have to check yourself and create boundaries.
That's right.
You do
Because
have,
you'll overextend yourself to the point where you're stressed out and you're getting all these negative impacts on your life and they're fine. You know what I
well,
mean?
I wouldn't consider myself being stressed out when I'm help doing those things. That's my thing.
I'm just
It's
saying it's
not.
just in general though.
Oh,
It is
okay.
just
Well,
general
somebody
because
might
it
be
could be
stressed out.
somebody.
Yeah, that's true.
It has happened to somebody and it will
Oh,
happen. Yeah,
absolutely.
because you're going all out of your way and you just to the point where you're again feeling negative some type of negative impact on your life. It's interfering
Mm-hmm.
with your normal way of life. It can
Yeah.
be interfering with your family because you're giving so much time to them that you're taking away time from your family. You're staying extra hours at work. You're out going after work. You're going over to their home to help them out. You're giving that time or whatever it may be. And that could be if that's interfering with your life, your normal way of life, then that's a problem.
Yeah. So in that regard, if somebody is overgiving and is interfering with their normal way of life, and that's kind of like overextending for sure. Like if you're experiencing burnout or
Yeah.
somebody is like, um, it's having a negative impact on you and your life. Yeah, that's
Yep.
one thing. Now, when I consider myself as far as like when it comes to like saying, okay, I want to do these things,
Mm-hmm.
it's not something that stressed me out or anything, but I could get to a point, depending on what's the situation, where I might be tired,
Yeah.
and I might extend myself even beyond, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or I might spend more than I thought I was going to spend because I wasn't expecting the help in this way or something. Like, I think that overgiving can become harmful to relationships.
Yeah, I agree. Because again, if you're giving, well, you mean the relationship with that person you're giving to?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah. That
Well,
I was
I
thinking.
mean, that's a good point too, though.
I was thinking like what I was saying a minute ago about how you're helping that person out so much that you're taking away time from your spouse or your significant other. You know, what I'm saying your kids or whoever. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because I mean, you know, they're not. They it's like the kids and the family got to separate, or I'm sorry, they got to They are sacrificing their time because you're not there
Well,
in a
yeah.
way.
In that regard, that's a good point. Like, it can take away from, like,
Quality time
your
with your
quality
family.
time, all that stuff like that too. Personally, I haven't had that experience because I don't uh, overgive or extend myself to the point where it's going to have that much of a negative impact on my household.
Mm-hmm.
But um I will say that I have had a situation where my giving, or even when I sat down and thought about it and evaluated, I looked at it as over giving.
Mm-hmm.
Did was harmful to a friendship that I had. And I say that because when I gained this friend, and it wasn't like a long term, like, a lot of friendships that I have, I don't know the people since I was young,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But it wasn't that way. It was like somebody I met in my adulthood.
Yeah.
And so um I really liked the person and stuff like that. And I feel like we did have some type of bond or whatever. But um I saw, sometimes people going through certain things in their life
Mm-hmm.
at a certain time, and I saw certain needs there, and I was just like, okay, I see these needs. I consider this person a friend. Let me step in and help her. And then even when she asked me,
Yeah.
like, certain things she asked me to do or come and do and different things like that, which was some of the things outside of my norm of doing, but it wasn't harmful to me, of course, or whatever. But it was like, okay, I can do that. I can step in and I can help because I see that this is going to get her a mental break.
Yeah.
Uh, and that's just what you do. You know what I mean? As a
Help.
friend,
Yeah,
when
you
you see
help.
somebody in that type of need, especially when it's pertaining to their mental health and, different things like that. Some people go through depression, postpartum, whatever. You know, I saw a need, and I was, and whatever. So I did, and I did regular things that friends do: go to birthdays, you know, show up to whatever,
Yeah.
whatever. But at the same time, at some point, I got to the point where in my life that had nothing to do with nobody else but just me, where I just needed to rebalance, recoup, and just pull myself together,
Mm-hmm.
mentally or whatever. I needed a break. Like, I was kind of exhausted.
Yeah.
And so at that point, when I couldn't show up or didn't because I was trying to take care of me, it caused the rift. It caused the rift in our relationship because of her expectations. Now I guess she had done got to the point, like I said, in the toxic giving situation where it becomes an expectation that people start feeling entitled.
Entitled. That entitlement.
Yeah. So now you feel entitled.
Like
And
you
now I
supposed to
can't
be there.
show up at this particular time,
Yeah.
or these particular couple of times out
Yeah.
of all the other times that I've it really extended myself.
Mm-hmm.
um there's a problem, you know
Yeah.
now I'm gonna meet you with this same energy type of situation.
Mm.
So that's why I said overgiving, because when I look at the situation and evaluate it, I'm like, had I probably not gave so much, so swift, so like I did, then it probably wouldn't have been an expectation in that sense, an entitlement, feeling of entitlement. we could have still been good friends, but I didn't, but there would have been no expectation or entitlement of me pouring out so much and not, you know what I'm saying? So when I did decide to pull back for myself,
Yeah.
just for me, and it wasn't like, um, it would have been like a long ongoing thing. I just needed some time, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And so it probably wouldn't have been that type of rift if it was so much. And I wouldn't even say that it was, I don't even know if I would say that it was toxic giving that I
Yeah.
was doing.
And I was, if you don't mind, I was just about to say that it wasn't anything you did wrong, because when you recognize a friend in need, then you do like you said, you reach out, you help, you offer to help, you hey, can I come by and spend some time with you or whatever, take your mind off things, or you need to talk, or you need this or that. There's nothing wrong with doing that, because, and from your perspective, from your point of view, it was just you being a good friend.
Mm-hmm.
And see, it sounded like she didn't know how to handle that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she didn't know how to handle that. And also, the way you say she matched your energy at the end, like you said you didn't show up for something.
Mm-hmm.
And then she said, okay, well, I'm gonna match your energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, why does she have to say per se match your energy when you've already deposited all this other time and all these other things that you've done out of your way, even when
Mm-hmm.
you volunteered
Mm-hmm.
and did it. And to me, it's like you like I say, deposited all this time, so you had all this, what I'm saying, all these moments that you helped her,
Mm-hmm.
but then like one or two times she gets upset because you didn't show up when you clearly stated you needed time to yourself, whatever the case was, and she's matching your energy at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Forgetting, like negating, totally negate all the other times you've been there.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like she needed to recognize that she had that friend who would go out of their way for her. Maybe she never had that before. I don't know. It
Mm-hmm.
could be something that she was going
And I
through.
can say that that's one of the things too. Sometimes people don't they do never have they
Yeah,
don't ever have that and don't know how to deal with it or treat that type of
that type
person
of
when they
person.
do get it.
When they do get it, yeah, when that person does all these, say, 20 things, and then but on for 21 they say, well, I kind of need a moment to myself, not today, or not this weekend because I was busy the last 2 weekends, so this weekend I'm looking forward to just kind of relaxing. So I'm gonna say no, I'm gonna decline. Thanks for the
Mm-hmm.
invite, but no, I can't help this time. You know what I'm saying? And for them to match your energy on the no when you've done 20 yeses.
Why can't you match me on that?
Why can't the
Because I
29?
wasn't even
Yes,
expecting to be matched on the things that I was given,
that's right.
because I knew that what I was given was something, first of all, that she wasn't even in a place to give.
Hmm.
I didn't even need, you know, certain things,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
in a moment, because sometimes people, we go through different seasons. So
Yeah,
sometimes we need things, sometimes we don't need things.
that's right.
Sometimes we good, sometimes we not good.
That's right.
So I wasn't expecting the, for to be, I wasn't expecting for her to be matching me. This what she did, I'm gonna do this what she did, I'm gonna do that, this was it. But if you're gonna match something, make sure you match the positive.
Yeah, they take overlook. I'm sorry, an overlook at all the things I did and match me at that
Yeah,
value.
you're
Not
gonna find
not
the
not
negative
this.
thing.
Yeah, not this week's value, but the whole value that from the last 6 months value,
Yeah, and matching that
or
and
whatever,
and
however
matching
long
that
it was.
and matching that to me would have been understanding. That's all I
Understanding,
would have needed, was
understanding,
understanding.
and I'm pretty sure appreciation.
And yeah,
Yeah.
but that comes from the understanding, is showing me that you understand and giving me that space. It shows me your appreciation.
Yes.
So that's all I would have needed,
Yeah.
is that understanding, and to and lend me that space that I need, or whatever. And don't take it personal,
Yeah.
because it's not. But at that point, I realized that I needed to start creating boundaries when I start new friendships, or not just new friendships. I got situations where I feel like, even looking at just established relationships, that I have to start like I have had to work on boundaries and start creating boundaries, because like I said, if I start to feel like nobody's obligated to support me in certain ways.
Yeah.
Nobody is, but I do have expectations, and I don't have big expectations, but I do have small expectations. So if I start to feel, if I start to feel unappreciated or overlooked, or that I'm not being taken into the same consideration that I take other people into, because you know what type of friend I am.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna hype up my
Oh
friends.
yeah.
I'm gonna,
Everybody gonna know
get,
what's going on.
if they got something going on, like this our podcast. If I had a friend that had a podcast, you best believe I'm gonna click on every video, every dang on episode section, whatever they have. That's just me.
Like it, comment it, click it,
Yeah,
subscribe it,
and
everything.
that's
All the
small,
above.
but that's the small thing to me. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? That's small for me. But so if I start to feel like I'm not taken into the same consideration as I give, then that's when I need to evaluate my boundaries for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not mad, I'm not, or anything like that, but I gotta take care of me.
Gotta take care of
So
you
a part
first.
of taking care of me and to keep me out of my feelings is to say, you know what? Then if you feel like that you're not getting the same consideration, then you need to reevaluate your your efforts.
Yep.
And if something comes genuinely to me and God put something on my heart, I'm gonna do what
That's
God
when
said.
you know you're gonna do it. Yeah.
But I know that I do a lot of things that I just want to do.
Mm-hmm. And you overdo sometimes.
So
but it'd be special though. When you overdo it, it'd be special.
Yeah.
Like just any, like say if you create a box, you're real good at creating these boxes for people, these gift boxes. I mean, you go to probably 3 or 4 different stores, maybe just to put the right things together in that box, going out of your way like that. You know what I'm saying? So when you give, it's like really giving, thoughtful giving.
Yeah, but it ain't even just that, and I do that, but it's not even just that. It's I give of myself.
Yeah.
And I will give emotionally, mentally, all of these things, and that's what relationships is about. But I also can't be left feeling like I don't get the same consideration, because then I'm my own problem, because then I gotta scale back and be like, hold on now, ma'am, you need to be trying to, I gotta check myself and be like, some of that same energy, put it into you.
Yeah.
Put it into you.
Or someone who will just appreciate it.
That too, but at the same time,
you first though. Honestly,
yeah,
it's got to be you first.
Because I just believe in like certain things you shouldn't have to act. And I think that's because like I said, you shouldn't expect you from people, but certain things as a friend you shouldn't have to ask for. As a family member, for certain family members, you shouldn't have to ask for.
Shouldn't have to ask for, because
and it just should come natural. I see them trying to do something, especially if I ask or I tell you that it's something I'm trying to do, or it's a goal I'm trying to reach, or it's something that, you know what I'm saying? It's like that should be your automatic cue. But see, I'm also thinking about it from me and what I would do. So that's why I'm saying I have to check myself and say, sis, you got to put the energies into the right places. You got to give where the Lord leads you to give, and the extra stuff, sometimes you got to scale it back if it's going to leave you feeling like that.
Yep, that's right.
So,
because sometimes it don't take but a few seconds to do a little something in appreciation that'll help so much. And sometimes we can't get that. Sometimes people don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. But see, since you undergive, hey, you ain't got no problem.
Undergive and sleep well at night.
Wait a minute now, because I get
good quality sleep.
I can imagine somebody who undergive that's not getting good sleep at night because they feel like the Lord probably tugging on them like, hey, now this is what you need to do. Now
when I feel like that, then I do give. So it ain't that.
Okay.
It ain't that, because especially if I feel like it's coming from God, like, yeah, I'm okay. I hear you.
Well, if you undergive, so what you're saying, if you undergiving and God nudge you, then you're gonna do what you're moved to do, what He's moving on your heart to do.
Yeah, for the most part, I'm not perfect. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes I don't, but if it's, and when I say I feel it from God, I think it's Him telling me, hey, just do this. It's when the situation first, when I first learned of the situation.
Oh, okay.
When a scenario is first presented to me, then, and maybe even not right at first, but maybe give it a few hours and then I'll hear, maybe something in me like God saying, hey, do this, try that. They'll really appreciate that. Then that I do that, I act on that.
Mm-hmm.
But me undergiving is just I don't know. I mean,
You
I don't think
you
I
ain't
give
thoughtful,
more. Let me
not
tell
for
you
I'm just
something.
playing.
Let me tell you something though. I offer and I give way more than I undergive. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's why I don't feel bad when I do undergive, because I'm available to people and they know this. So if
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving, then I'm giving. They know that. And they know
You
they can come to me for time,
you one of them
money,
people.
or whatever. I mean, what I'm saying? I'm willing to help just about
Well, they
whoever.
ain't asked me.
Yeah.
They ain't
They ain't open their mouth. So
ain't
hey.
nobody. But
They
anyway.
ain't say nothing. They must be good. So
Yep,
hey.
that's your mindset, boy. That is it right there. They ain't say nothing. They ain't ask me, but they ain't.
But hey, if somebody lost a family member, I'm reaching out. I'm reaching out at least to say, hey, what can I do? Can I do something? And it may not be right away that I'm gonna reach out, but it may be a day or two later because everybody want to be the first
So you
to
can't
reach
get
out.
you
Then
can't.
I reach out to them and say, hey, I heard about your loss. I'm sorry to hear about that or
So you
whatever.
just a
What can I do?
sympathy giver. If they grieving, then you give. If somebody ain't grieving, they don't get. No, I'm
No, no.
joking. I'm joking.
I'm just,
But yeah.
I give, but I'm definitely not an over giver because I can be and I have before, but I look at over giving as like a platinum star because, as we all know, we live in a world where everyone gets a gold star, everyone gets a title of genius. You do something good, you do something, you're a hero. But it's over. All that stuff is like so washed out to it's like, where's the value in it?
Mm-hmm.
So then, if you're over giving or overextending yourself to people all the time, then what is the new norm? What at that point the norm is overgiving. So what is overgiving?
Mm.
So
Over again.
platinum. So that platinum star is reserved for me. If I'm overgiving to you or to someone, then hey, it's because they really needed that something or whatever it was.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah,
Well,
that's just my point of view on it, my perspective. I ain't saying that's the right answer, but it's definitely better than the Gottman answer.
you always talk about so God
Hey,
man.
it's better than Gottman's. You best believe.
You got me alone. Oh gosh.
Not for real.
But
But that's just my opinion on it.
yeah.
Overgiving can be good, but watch how you do it. Don't let it become toxic. Be thinking about yourself first and what you need and what those around you need first, especially your family or close friends. But just
Yeah. I mean, you can make sacrifices,
make
but
sacrifices,
just
but
be
just be
very mindful of
yep, be mindful of it.
it. Yeah. How much you doing
The yep,
that.
how much you do. Watch those quantities. If it's taking away too much time from your family or people who need you, then you need to watch it. You need to reevaluate, rethink it. How are
Mm-hmm.
you going to do it? How can I still give time or still give, but keep a good balance? So
Yeah. Absolutely, sir. I'm learning from you. But
what?
you said they learn from the best. You learn from the best.
Oh shoot! I said something right
I'm learning.
somewhere.
I'm learning. I'm learning how to scale back,
Yeah,
and it's a good thing.
yeah.
It's gonna help me preserve myself and some relationships.
I know that's right.
So, cause hey, the first thing I be thinking about is, I ain't even no cut off person, but baby, that be little. I'd be like, let me just take a step back. Then I have to say, you know what? Let me just, it don't have to be that serious. So, but that's all I got, baby.
Yeah, same
That's all
here.
you got.
I think so.
All right. Thank y'all for listening, and tune back in 2 Tuesdays from now for our next episode. So shoot us a DM if y'all got any topic suggestions for us to talk about at our IG, Just Being the Joneses. And we are out.